Testing of numerous samples of common vegetables and fruits drawn from open-air market and supermarkets in Nairobi, Nakuru and Machakos found that sukuma wiki, amaranth, tomatoes and mangoes contain the chemical residue at levels not regarded as safe by the World Health Organization.
We did both chemical assessment, we also did microbial assessment, and in both open-air markets and also the supermarkets, we got a lot of chemical residues, and also we got salmonella and other pathogens, meaning our fruits and vegetables are not really safe. Okay, the levels of the residues, pesticide residues, for example, are quite high in tomatoes, in kales, our normal fruits and vegetables that we eat on a daily basis.
The result also show that due to poor production and handling practices, disease-causing viruses, bacteria and fungi contaminate most raw fruits and vegetables.
It's also about the Kenyans, our citizens, the consumers' health. We need to be aware of that. We have kids now getting cancer when they're so small. Processed foods that contain all these chemical contaminants. You see a small kid getting even diabetics, and the number is going high. Okay, it's not yet alarming, but you know now that trend, in the next few years we'll have a serious crisis.
There is therefore need to carefully regulate the use of pesticides on fruits and vegetables to ensure they do not pose unreasonable risks to human health and environment. But this can only be done if the farmers are educated on the good agricultural practices.
For example, for kales, they say I go to the agrovet, if I see my sukuma wiki or kales having worms or turning color, I'll just go to the agrovet, I'll ask them I need a pesticide or whatever, and that's the person who will advise them. But that's not the right source. So there's a gap. There's a gap there. You'd expect, like for example, Ministry of Agriculture, they are supposed to send extension officers who are supposed to train the farmers on the right maybe chemicals, but there's a gap. The farmers say we rarely see him.
There is also need for food standards that give specifications for the compositional requirements, microbiome requirements, the tolerance limits for contaminants, packaging, labeling, and the hygiene conditions necessary for products to be passed as consumable. Though Kenya is making strides towards food safety, this will only happen when everybody is food secure.
I think the key thing is food security. Once everyone has access to food, sufficient food for everybody, now we can talk of seriously now talking of food safety. But I think also we need to change our policy. We don't have really an authority, a food safety authority organization that can oversee this. And I think that's part of why we are failing. We need a policy and we need an agency, a food safety agency. We now have, of course, a different organization within the government that handle this. But when we talk of food safety, for example, like the EU, they have EFSA, which is an independent body. It's not a government body. Very independent, who addresses now issues of food safety. We need such a body that can really look at food safety issues, that is very independent.
Kenya imports approximately 7,000 metric tons of pesticides worth 4.3 billion shillings every year, an indication that the problem could persist if urgent measures are not taken to address it. Mareta Selvin, GBS News.
Kubwa lakini ni kitu kama hii.